Hello there. I'm here with a friend who is, I think, more Brazilian than I am. He loves Brazil. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing good, thanks. For those who don't know, I'm Keagan. I'm actually from South Africa. I've
Hmm.
only been in Ireland for 4 years, and
Mm-hmm.
neither country has anything to do, or not much to do with Brazil or
Mm-hmm.
Portuguese. So I've got
Mm-hmm.
a very interesting story to say.
Yeah. So you are in Ireland right now, right?
That's correct, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how did Brazil come into your life?
I mean, for those who have been to Ireland, specifically Dublin, it is quite literally the second Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
For the longest time, actually, even now, the 4 years I've been here, I know more Brazilian people than Irish people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so at work, with loads and loads of Brazilians, and I used to work a night shift. So I used to work from
Mm-hmm.
3:30 in the afternoon until
Mm-hmm.
midnight, and we wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
have much work to do. And
Mm-hmm.
I was surrounded by Brazilians. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
let me learn a couple of words, and then skip a bit of the story. I can tell that's part of the story later.
Mm-hmm.
I managed to go to Brazil last year in
Mm-hmm.
December, and Brazil and South Africa are
Mm-hmm.
incredibly similar. The
Mm-hmm.
people, the food, the
Mm-hmm.
weather, the culture.
Mm-hmm.
So going to Brazil, it's like my second home.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you like most?
Oh, that's a very tough question. Like, the Brazilian barbecue or churrasco
Mm-hmm.
is really good. It's also
Mm-hmm.
kind of similar to South Africa.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think the thing I enjoyed the most while I was there was how friendly and
Mm-hmm.
welcoming people are to gringos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It really is. It just makes the whole trip there so
Mm-hmm.
much better when you feel
Yeah.
welcome in the country, even if you can't speak the language very well.
Mm-hmm. And when have you decided to learn Portuguese?
Jeez, when did I? This was maybe October, November
Mm-hmm.
of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Attempted to learn by myself with some
Mm-hmm.
Duolingo and some other apps and whatever for
Yeah.
about a year. I didn't learn anything.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do much learning myself either, but I
Yeah.
could repeat a couple phrases.
Mm-hmm.
Then about October of 2020, I decided I actually want to take this more seriously. So
Mm-hmm.
officially, from what I'm counting, October 2020 is when I started speaking and trying to learn to speak Portuguese on a more serious note.
Yes, there's something else or someone else that makes you to be even more related to Portuguese.
That was a very nice side effect of learning Portuguese. So originally, one of the apps I use, which is Tandem, it is I speak English, I want to learn Portuguese. You speak Portuguese, you want to learn English,
Yes.
and it kind of gives you a suggestion like, hey, maybe you two
Mm-hmm.
want to talk, and that's
Mm-hmm.
how I met my now fiance. She sent me a
Wow.
message on this app saying, hey, and we started chatting purely for learning,
Mm-hmm.
wanting to help each other, but we were chatting every single day.
Mm-hmm.
She has said a few times now that I was a little bit annoying in the beginning. She'd wake up, she's like, oh, this gringo sent me another message. But I carried on. I loved
Mm-hmm.
talking with her. And eventually
Mm-hmm.
moved, the app wasn't great to chat on, so moved to
Mm-hmm.
Instagram and WhatsApp and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then on New Year's, it was New Year's of
Mm-hmm.
2021. So 2020 going into
Mm-hmm.
2021,
Mm-hmm.
I was staying awake to say Happy New Year's to her and her family. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning for myself. And we decided on that after having chatted for a few months that we want to make this thing serious. We're really
Mm-hmm.
enjoying each other's company. Even though I never met her yet, just purely
Mm-hmm.
online. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so we started dating online, 1st of January 2020. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
1st of January 2021. And throughout the year, and it's
Mm-hmm.
actually about this time last year,
Mm-hmm.
July-ish, we had the idea of maybe I can meet her in Brazil. I'd had flights cancelled because of COVID back to South Africa,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought, why not? And let's see if this is actually going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Managed to book some flights, got all of that ready. Time absolutely flew by. That was very quick.
Mm-hmm.
I met her for the first time last year in December. I met her at the airport with her friends and her brother. The very big hug. After waiting 1 year for that, it was amazing. And I spent 3 weeks there with her in her house with her family. Second day that I was there, we already had a barbecue. And for those who know, she's from the south of Brazil.
Yes.
And oh Lord, the pieces of meat that you get there. I've got a photo of myself. I'm holding a piece of meat, and it's like the length of the upper half of my body. It was enormous.
Yeah.
And I met the rest of her friends, some more family.
Yeah.
Amazing time. So at that time, I don't like calling myself fluent in Portuguese, but I was able to speak, and we were having a great time there with her friends and family, making jokes. 2 days after that, for New Year's, we had another barbecue, and the exact same thing. I think I've had so many barbecues so close in such a long time. And again, it was, like I said earlier, the people are so friendly there. Like, I was sitting there with people I just met, and we were talking as if I'd known them for 5 years already, which was amazing. It made me feel very comfortable, like I was at home. Spent 3 weeks there. Traveled to Torres and Gramado together, explored a little bit. And then I recently looked at this because I proposed to her while I was there as well. I had been in Brazil for 3 days, and I sent my dad a message saying, I know I didn't want to do this, but I need to propose to her now. I had a feeling that it was right. So I ended up proposing to her, and having someone who you love like that and who's always there has made such a difference to how I've learned. As great as what my teacher is and people I speak to outside of work, it's just different when you have someone like that to help you learn.
What is the best trait of Brazilians for you?
Ooh. Again, I think friendliness is pretty high up. I haven't met a Brazilian yet that has been not friendly, especially sometimes. I can speak Portuguese fine now. I generally don't have that many issues speaking the language. But every now and then, I just slip up and I make mistakes. I haven't met someone who's like, oh, you're speaking bad, or you're speaking that great. They've always been very friendly towards, you're learning Portuguese. That's amazing. It's like, oh, yeah, I made a mistake, but like they're loving it. They're so happy to embrace Gringos into the culture, their culture. I think it's one of the best things people can have.
Well, I might say that Brazilians love making friends. We try to make the guest or the person who is visiting us feel as they are at their house. How can you create such amazing and funny content on social medias?
Honestly, I have no idea. But I know one big help I've had is actually my fiance. So creating content like that has been something I've always thought of doing. So originally I'd wanted to do it for photography. A couple of years back, I was really big into photography and I wanted to have a photography YouTube channel. So helping other people to learn the mistakes I made and all of that. And I created the account. Don't think it exists anymore, but I created the account and I never did anything with it. I just, okay. I know some people have said as well, like I was very camera shy. Even now, it still feels weird, especially if I'm in like city center in Dublin and I stand there and I've got my phone and I'm trying to record a video of myself. Sometimes it's like, are these people listening to me or what they're thinking? But it's gotten a lot better. But a lot of the video ideas have come from my fiance. She's like, "Hey,
Yeah.
you should make a video about that. You made a funny mistake. Make other people laugh. It'll be great."
Well, for me, it's sheer talent.
Thank you.
If you had to give an advice to my audience about learning a language, what would that advice be?
I think two things. One, being consistent is very important.
Yeah.
Because when I first attempted to learn Portuguese, I wasn't consistent at all. So I'd have 1 week where I was super focused on Portuguese, and then I wouldn't study anything for 2 months, which is not useful at all.
Yeah.
But I think at the same time, we need to know our limits and when we actually need to step back a little bit and let our brains slow down and recover. Because if you're going too much, I feel you're going to get to a point where you're reading all of this new information, but it's not actually staying. And what I found once before, it's like I'd gotten sick, I think it was last year, and I ended up taking a break from Portuguese just so I can get better. And I ended up remembering things that I'd been struggling to learn for a long time, just after giving myself a break and like, okay, let me breathe. So I think consistency and knowing when to take a break.
If you had a chance to see yourself 5 years ago again, what would you tell your younger self?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I would tell myself to carry on with and believe in yourself more. Because up until probably 2 or 3 years ago, I was very shy. So I don't think I would have ever been able to do this interview with you at all, just because I wouldn't be able to talk. I was extremely shy and didn't have that much confidence in myself. So I think believe in yourself more. You are capable of doing what you want.
Yeah. Awesome. Now I think we can go to the rapid round game, the game that everybody loves. I'll start and then I go on the hot seat and you ask me your questions, all right?
Perfect.
My fiance is
amazing, beautiful, and I love her.
Brazil is
my second home.
The most beautiful word in Portuguese for me is
cafuné.
Could you translate it to English?
That's a difficult word to translate, but the scratching on someone's head like you would with a pet.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Run our fingers through the hair of another person.
Yeah,
that would be
something like that.
Loosely translated. If I had to describe myself in one single word, that word would be
confident, I think. And now, yes, I feel confident. Yeah.
Friends are
very important for life.
The most beautiful word in English for me is
good question. Oh, I never thought of an English word that's beautiful. Florist.
Nice. Well, now I am on the hot seat and you can ask your questions.
I think it's your turn for what is the most beautiful word in English?
Tomorrow. Because there will always be a new tomorrow. No matter what happens to you today, the sun will shine again tomorrow.
I would love to visit
Europe.
It really is beautiful.
And I wish I can be there someday.
I'm sure you will.
You know,
you have someone to show you around in Dublin.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Of course. My favorite place in Brazil is
Rio.
Oh, okay. Beautiful. Still want to visit Rio one day. And what? Home is?
Home is where your heart is. I'm sorry, but when I get to New York, it feels like home to me.
Family is?
My foundation.
Yeah. And we all need that strong foundation in life. That's very helpful. Your favorite word in Portuguese?
Saudade.
That's another difficult one to translate.
Saudade is a mixture of missing and longing.
Yeah.
Because you can feel sad, feeling saudade, and you can feel happy, feeling saudade at the same time.
Talking about Portuguese being so beautiful, do you know the phrase? It's from The Lion King, Hakuna Matata.
Yeah.
So, I forget. it translates to English. It's a Zulu phrase or proverb, and it translates to English as "no worries." And I had a friend at work who always used to say "Hakuna Matata." He's from South Africa as well. And when I was learning Portuguese, every time I heard someone say "batata," I thought of that phrase, and I thought of him. So I couldn't have someone talk to me about batata without thinking of the Lion King.
Yes.
Very interesting connection, but
well, we got to the end of the interview. I knew it would be a great interview, and for every guest, I have a sentence, a quote, a takeaway, and for you is a very simple quote, but it's going to mean a lot, I think. Never give up, no matter what. As we say in Portuguese as well, if life gives you lemons, make a lemonade. I think your content is amazing. I think you should keep going. It's pretty funny, entertaining. It was a huge pleasure to have you for this interview. I hope you liked it as much as I did. But before we go, please tell my audience how people can find you.
So I'm on Instagram and TikTok. I do have a Facebook page, although I don't remember why I created one because I never use it. But on Instagram and TikTok, it is Keagan or Gringo, Keag, which is a short version of my name, and then Gringo, the Gringo. So I have both videos on Instagram and TikTok. Generally, they're the same. Sometimes Instagram has a little bit more, not just the video. I might have some photos talking about my fiance and our story a little bit more. But I post on both.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this interview with this amazing gentleman here. You have a friend in the countryside of Brazil now, and whenever you want to come down, just let me know.
Of course.
You're more than
Hopefully
welcome.
Soon.
You're more than welcome here. Thank you for your time. I knew that you were pretty busy today, but you made it to the interview. So see you next week, guys. This was my friend Keagan. All his details will be in the description box down below. Thank you so much once again.
Perfect.
Thank you
all.
all.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Thank you all. See you all
Bye.
later.
Hello, it's Rod's friend here, Gino from Real Everyday English. Sorry for interrupting your video. I just want to make a quick recommendation that you subscribe to Rodrigo's channel. He's an amazing guy. He's so humble. He's so dedicated. And he creates absolutely fantastic content. See you people soon. Bye-bye. God bless.